And we're back in live and inside the game here on the National Soccer Network. I'm Nate Wangler. That's Ryan Glinsky. As always, today is National Creativity and Innovation Day, and we are the most creative and innovative podcast you will ever find on the World Wide Web right here on Inside the Game on the National Soccer Network. I think, at least we try to be. Also, I wanted to extend a very happy belated 420 to you, my friend Ryan Glinsky. Hopefully you had a chance to get out of your mind and celebrate yesterday and then hang 10 a little bit. No, I'm kidding. I know
Yeah, man.
we're a national show, so
the
we can't
gym
be,
was unreal yesterday. It's all over
it's
the
a little
place.
smelly in there.
I will
It's a
say,
little loud, you know?
I will say, my uncle added a punching bag to his basement. Dude, I was punching that thing so much. Dude, it was so much fun. Just
Really?
looking at it. Like, you ever walk by something, and you just get the temptation to like hit it or just like touch it. Like, dude, like the punching bag, dude, that was insane. Oh, Ramen, what's up, man? Ramen's we got a couple chats. Ramen says I got like 20 minutes. Well, hopefully you enjoy these 20 minutes. Dave says afternoon all. So look at all these people hopping in. Ramen, if you want to see me not cry about Arsenal, you can watch yesterday's video. That wasn't a lot of fun, but
Yeah.
we're never winning.
My guy.
Ramen. We are never winning a single trophy. It sucks.
Yeah, my guy has reached acceptance. Like we talked about this yesterday, he has reached that stage of the grieving process. We're past the sadness, we're past the angers, we're past the emotional outburst. Now we finally got to the point of, you know what? Just accepting reality for what it is, which I'm saying, like it could definitely can help a lot in that way. But I don't know. I liked your you still yesterday. You said I had a point with my glass half empty mentality. You still went glass half full on your take though yesterday because you're like they played good. And, they didn't play bad. They just didn't win.
They're just not good enough.
That's what I'm saying. That's so I guess it makes it easier in one way or another.
We're just gonna be the Buffalo Bills and finish second all the time. It's gonna be awesome. It's gonna be awesome.
Which is like that's why like whenever I
final. God.
Right. It's like when I beg the question of like, would you rather be a team that is just consistently bad, or would you rather be a team that's always in the fight and in the conversation but is never able to finish? Because it's just like I feel like it's me personally. I think it's more daunting to be the team that just can't never ever finish, as opposed to being the team that's never really in the conversation. That sucks.
I feel like Dave hates Arsenal. He goes, not even 2 minutes in, and they already get mentioned. I think he just hates Arsenal, man. I just think he's just hating on the Gunners, man. He's just hating on the Gunners.
Do you know who Patty Pimblett is by chance? If I were to name that UFC,
no idea.
UFC guy. No, okay. He says Arsenal fans are the worst in the world. They're the worst fan base in the world. No one touches Arsenal.
He's like a Liverpool fan, isn't he?
He is a Liverpool fan. Yeah, exactly. He's from Liverpool. So, yeah, I mean...
He should feel the pain then, finishing second all the damn time.
But hey, does he have a point, though? I mean, is he wrong? Are you guys that insufferable?
Every fan base is bad in its own sense. Michigan fans think Ohio State fans are the worst. Ohio State fans think Michigan fans are the worst. Alabama fans think Auburn's the worst, and vice versa. It's what everyone thinks. Everyone just has to complain about something.
But let's get into topic number one here in hour number one. Again, big thanks to everyone joining us in the chat. By the way, Luke, if you're on the show today or if you're watching this one, I still owe you Detroit street names, so we'll get to that as maybe our cold open here later on in the week. By the way, I will not be on tomorrow. I'm assuming that our friend Ryan Glinsky will either go solo or maybe somebody else will be joining him, but I will have a day game tomorrow, so I will not be on for that one. But let's get into this conversation. Obviously, it's been one of the main storylines we've been following all year, and it continues even as we get closer to the World Cup. But if Wrexham were to get promoted, would it even be sustainable? The biggest question is the levels that they have leaped, the distances that they have gone. They are looking to become the only team in that domestic league's history to go from the bottom rung all the way to the top rung and into the Premier League. But, much like any other promotion, there's a lot that comes with that. And there's a reason why we talk about promotion and relegation in the United States and why it would be sort of this logistical nightmare. And one of the biggest reasons is because of what it requires out of your club, which is, again, massive sweeping changes that would definitely be necessary for a place like Wrexham to go from, again, the bottom to the top, which is not an easy thing to do. Also, wouldn't be easy to do here in the US, to go from a stadium that's this capacity to this capacity. But you get my point. It's a hard thing to do regardless. It's almost like a D2 school making that leap from D2 to D1. There's a lot that comes with that. I don't care how good you are at playing your sports. There's a lot of money and a lot of investment that has to go into it. However, um, I think when it comes for losing money, and I know that you've made a video about this, Ryan, talking about the fact that they are losing out on money the way that they are and the amount that they're losing. I think it's different when we look at clubs and we look at for-profit businesses. There's a difference between the two, right? By investing heavily into player contracts and infrastructure and everything as it pertains to putting a successful product on the field, the product itself appreciates, right? So you can sell it at a much higher price than what you acquired it. Being in debt is not necessarily a bad thing, especially when you have very profitable, wealthy owners, obviously the way that Wrexham does. So the net losses in this case are not nearly as serious. You're always kind of riding that line when it comes to being in debt. You're never going to be for profit. You're never really going to make money. So from a financial perspective, I don't see this necessarily going south. The only question comes in is the different levels of changes, right? First, you have to consider stadium size. I think that's something that needs an upgrade. Scouting teams will change. Training grounds and facilities need upgrading. And not only that, but the youth academy itself to a full-on Category 1 program. So from level to level to level, it's going to be hard. However, when you look at the owners, right, the people that are running the show, those guys, I think they have the means to be able to do it. Not only the means to do it, but I think they have the support from outside sources to be able to make it happen. Now, will Wrexham win the Prem? I don't know. I mean, I think it's a
I sure
giant
don't think
leap
so.
when you talk about, when you get into the Premier League. It's like, I mean, the fact that they snuck in is the thing, right? Like beyond that, I think whatever else happens, minus them maybe going down a level, which is obviously not what they want, but just getting there is the goal, right? And so that is, in my personal opinion, I think that's the most important thing.
Yeah, Dave coming in on the YouTube. He says they should have aimed for mid-table into the championship. Helps build the stadium up, build an academy / training facility. Yeah, no, I kind of agree with that. It almost feels like they've been getting promoted way too fast. They've been getting promoted every single year. Like they built a team obviously from I think the fifth division to like they basically did a what's it called it they basically had a League One side in the fifth
Yeah.
division. They already built that, and it was unbelievable, and people already knew that they were going to get through the League Two. They're going to get to League One, no issue because of how good their team was. And then you bring in the likes of Paul Mullen, my bad. And then you bring in like the old Arsenal goalkeeper, a Kongwu, like our 19-year-old. Then you go and get former Premier League players from West Brom. I forgot his name, but I remember him when he was on West Brom. Plays for Wrexham. Like they were like I feel like they're getting promoted too quickly. And just a couple of numbers here, because there's a couple comments I'd like to get into the video from like a month ago or whatever it was. But McElhenney's net worth is around 50 million. Ryan Reynolds is around $350 million. So like they have some money. I wouldn't say it's like crazy Arsenal, Liverpool, Man City, Chelsea money, but they do have some stuff. And then if I just look at the average salary for a championship player to a Premier League player, and championship wise, they kind of range it to around 14,000 to 30,000 pounds per week, whereas the Premier League average is 60,000 pounds per week. So you're going from like roughly $1 million a year for a player to roughly about $3 million per year, or 3 million pounds, 1 million pounds per year.
Yeah.
I get it. You're going to make a whole bunch of money just for being in the league, 110 million, 170 million. Like I get that, but it's like, I mean, how much is that going to go just straight into your budget, into your payroll? Because a lot of clubs and a lot of players like want to get paid more money because they help the team get promoted. They helped get the team promoted, so that's what they want to
Yeah.
use. So that's what I like to see, and a lot of the clubs want to see that as well, or a lot of the players rather want to see that well. Because why do you think players get like they lose money once they get demoted? That's what happens. And Wrexham, I think they're getting promoted a little bit too quickly because some people have even mentioned their training ground. It's so far away from the stadium itself, the race course. And they're even trying to build up the race course too. I forgot about that. They got the whole I forgot the name of the stand though. I forgot the name of it, but of that particular stand. And it's not like Wrexham is like an easy place to access, I guess, if that makes sense. Like if you were coming from around.
Yeah.
Like Ryan Reynolds always mentions like he's got to fly into London and then drive like 4 more hours or 3 more hours to get to Wrexham. So it's an interesting situation. I'm sure they've got it handled. I'm sure they have a good financial plan in place. The cop, thank you, Dave. And I should have done with the Liverpool thing, but yeah, no, that's just something that I would I'd look into. And just make sure that you guys are on the right page, because you don't want to get promoted too quickly, because if you get relegated, some teams don't recover from being relegated.
Yeah, no, and that's fair. And so I think it always brings up this conversation of, it's one thing to get to that level. Like, that is hard. The hardest part, though, for Wrexham, and it's wild to say this, right? Because no team in history has ever done this. So if you get to that point, it's really hard to be like, well, okay, the hard part is out of the way, but the hardest part is still here, which is maintaining this level and staying at this level, which is it's extremely difficult. And so I just think it certainly helps to have the financial backing that you have. Now, do they bring in another partner? Do they bring in somebody else? I'm sure that there's probably some conversations around that and what that looks like, but or some other American influence. Yeah, Logan Paul could be an easy choice for them. But I see where the concern may come for Wrexham. However, it's just, again, with the amount of momentum that they've built, I just don't see this going sideways. But you're right. If they do get relegated, they could certainly play a big role. But no,
And then,
what's that?
I mean, even if we look at the table, like there's still a chance they don't even get into the promotion playoff. Like they are on the verge of getting into the promotion playoff. They're 3 points behind the 6th place team in Hull City, which they haven't been in the Premier League in a long time. And like, you still got 3 games to go. You have Coventry in there, which some people might think, oh, that's the difficult one. It might not be, because they've already secured everything that they want. So, I mean, who cares at that point? Their season's already done. Like they already got promoted. They got everything they want. Middlesbrough, that seems like to be a tough one, obviously, because they're still in the promotion playoff. But again, it's not set in stone that they get into the promotion playoff anyway. But again, there's a chance they could still get promoted into the Premier League, and I don't see them getting promoted. But again, I've seen crazier stuff happen, so who knows?
Yeah, and there might be a feeling out process or a couple of formative years before they actually get to where they want to be. So I think it's important to keep that in mind as well. But coming up here on the show, let's talk a little bit about what's that?
I said I had to get some comments about the whole situation.
My bad. Yeah,
go ahead.
Comments
on it. Someone mentions Ryan Reynolds is closer to a billionaire than you think. I don't think he's close to a billionaire. With his net worth and everything. He sold Aviation Gin and Mint Mobile for over $2 billion and now owns an F1 racing team. He owns an F1 team? I don't think he does he?
I think he does.
Which one?
I thought I remembered seeing something about it.
He said he sold an Aviation Gin for $660 million, Mint Mobile for $1.35 billion. Oh, wow. Well, aren't both of those are still sponsors of the team, I think, and they got TikTok money too. So, TikTok money's nice. TikTok money is nice. They lost $15 million in revenue, but the value of the club is worth significantly more. Also, a club losing money is not a bad thing. Chelsea lost £355 million last year. West Ham $104 million. Tottenham won $20 million. Manchester United $33 million, and their 6th year losing money. Yeah, I mean, many sports teams are college athletics, like, they don't make money. They always lose money. It's more of like, I mean, you'll get donors or you'll get brand deals or whatever it is, but like most sports teams don't make money. I don't think people realize that.
No, yeah. Yeah.
Like I
Yeah,
know that,
it's always, yeah, they record net losses. But the money that you invest increases the valuation of the product. Like that's the thing. Like if you put a good product out on the field, then that, or the pitch, obviously in this case, then that's a little bit different. It's not quite like it's not quite the same business model as like a for-profit company, so
yeah,
that's why
there's only like
that's a weird thing. That's not always a bad thing, and that's why I think some people look at debt and they're like, oh, it's automatically bad. No, not necessarily. Now, like, if you want to talk about national debt, that's a little bit of a different conversation, but like other certain things, debt is not always bad. So I think that's something that people tend to forget. But let's
Baku in
tell
the
the
YouTube
folks.
chat says not one of the big football parentheses soccer. So maybe we're starting to convert some of these people into soccer fans. Is making revenue. You guys
Yeah.
are right. Thank you, Baku. Thank you. Someone mentioned
Yep.
Bo Bowden says the ROI when they cash out, big picture stuff. I don't see them selling this thing for a long time. Unless like
Mhm.
some Saudi guy with like $2 billion is like, here's $2 billion, and they're like, or $10 billion.
Yeah.
Like unless some Saudi
Yeah.
guy comes in and just gives out
Yep.
all of this money, like I don't see them ever selling this thing for an extended period of time.
Mhm. Yeah. Yeah, no, 100%. Let's tell the people about FC Bayern, and then we'll bring it right back here in hour number 1. But FC Bayern summer soccer camps are a proud sponsor of the National Soccer Network, fostering football excellence across North America. Open to boys and girls of all skill levels, FC Bayern camps deliver elite training inspired by FC Bayern Munich's world-class philosophy. Select your city and start a promising soccer path. Right now, save $30 on registration by using promo code BayernNSN30. Again, that's BayernNSN30. Scan the QR code on your screen. Learn more at FCBayernYouth.com.
So the dream behind Irene's was simply to be a place where the community could come and gather. This is my hometown, we're raising our family here, and we just want to be a space where people can come together as a community and share a great meal. We've got golf simulators, we got pinball, live music, trivia nights, but we also have fresh, always homemade, locally sourced food, and we serve it with a sense of Gemütlichkeit. This is a German word that conveys a sense of warmth and coziness and belonging. We're excited to show off how we're growing and that this is the place to be.
And welcome back in on Inside the Game, episode 272. Nate Wangler and Ryan Glinsky getting into the second topic here in hour number 1. Ryan, one of the main topics as it pertains to the FIFA World Cup, and we'll get to some of the stuff in the chat here in a minute. But as it retains to a lot of the World Cup stuff, selling tickets has been a problem. And it has been something that we have mentioned multiple times throughout the course of, the months leading up to the World Cup. Now, obviously, as we get closer, a lot of these games are starting to fill out. Many of them are starting to sell out. But an estimated 40,000 tickets sold to the U.S. and Paraguay game, which is the opener against Paraguay in the World Cup, which is behind Iran and New Zealand at 50,000. Now, this coming from an article in The Athletic talking about how, the U.S. and a lot of those tickets have not been sold yet, and there's kind of a little bit of scarcity right now. Is that manufactured by FIFA in order to sell more tickets? I think it may be. However, right now listed as the third most expensive game in the tournament outside of the semifinal and the final in the FIFA World Cup. So the third most expensive is the opener against Paraguay. But again, the other side of this is, Ryan, is are they fabricating this? What I will say is, I think they are expensive.
Or do Americans
and,
not even want to go to this thing? There's that too.
Well, that is true. And I think there is the question of, do they actually want to go see this team? Is there actually a draw to go see this team? But, I also think, again, this speaking from a personal perspective, and just from what I've collected from listening to other people and just living as an adult in our economy right now, there's certain recession indicators. That's been one of my the fun trigger phrases that I've heard lately is recession indicators. And it means that there are certain things that go on, in every single day life that, kind of remind you that we're not really in a good place as it pertains to that. A few of those, I'll give you a few. McDonald's is the only food that I can rely on that'll be decent price wise. McDonald's and Chipotle. That's about all you can get, where you go there and you know what you're going to get. And the dollar amount's not ridiculous.
Eggs is the
I mean, I
best
buy
bang
eggs.
for your buck.
Chicken
is
the
the best
but,
bang for your buck. Chicken thighs, yogurt, eggs, that is so cheap.
Okay. Stretching my coffee for 2 days, eating plain bread for snacks at night. All these other things are all recession indicators. But I will say, I know that FIFA has been stingy about their ticket prices, and maybe they're not willing to budge on some of those. However, I do think a lot of this has been and will continue to be kind of manufactured by FIFA because they want to let people know that there's still tickets available. If they were to just think about this as an organization, if they were to just sit back on their hands and not say anything, not report anything or put any numbers out there, well, then they wouldn't really have to worry about, then they wouldn't have to worry about, well, we're not going to have enough tickets or sold once the game comes around. But if they put it out there that, hey, there's this scarcity of tickets and we need people to continue to buy tickets, well, that might actually force them to get to the box office and buy those tickets while they remain. I'm not saying it's intentional by FIFA, like they're trying to create some level of hysteria, but for some reason, I still think it's going to be sold out, Ryan. I don't I don't picture this not being, I don't know. It's just personally the way I see it.
All right, we got to get you some good grocery shopping habits, man. There's always deals.
Dude,
you don't have to live off
I get
bread.
I get there's deals, man, but it just no, it's not great. Also, working at a meat market taught me that no, chicken is not reasonably priced, far from. But anyways,
man, hit up
go ahead.
Aldi's. Hopefully there's an Aldi's. We'll get you an Aldi's over
Aldi's
there.
Is nice. I will say I do like Aldi's. I will say I do like
Dave
Aldi's.
says just look at the Club World Cup games. They were played in half-empty stadiums. Yeah, that was true. I think though that at the same time, I think soccer in America is doing itself a disservice by playing these games in football stadiums because like the MLS stadiums fit like 15. If they're playing in an actual soccer designed stadium, you're like 15 to 20,000 ish, and like they sell out pretty good, or like they look packed is what I should say. And then you move it to a 75,000 seat stadium, and that just like unless Messi's playing, like you won't get a sold out 75. Like the Rapids played Inter Miami, and they sold out 75,000 people because Messi was playing, and it was a home game for the Rapids. So like that's really about it. I think it kind of boils down to at the same time do Americans truly even want to go to the World Cup? Because like you think about it, do they actually want to? Because I mean, 94, I think that was more of just curiosity. How they're like, what's this soccer thing all about? Let's just kind of see what's going on. And obviously now
Yeah.
with the growth of the game, and I think you're still pricing out the diehard fans. And I also like, if you were to go up to a millionaire who just like goes to sporting events and sits in a suite just for fun or whatever, I don't think they would spend money on going to a soccer game or a World Cup game. I do, however, think that FIFA is going to drop all their prices. I really do, because I think that they saw the amount of money that Americans spend on tickets for, Super Bowls or World Series or NFL games. Like, you're telling me you'd sit in the last row of Ford Field by spending $500 on a ticket? They're like, they could spend $500 on a ticket for a World Cup game, right? So I get what they're doing, and I mean, I can't knock on a company for trying to make the most money, but I still think all the prices we brought down, and I think you're right, it will be sold out at some point. And I think that these prices, I think you're going to see, maybe 2-3 weeks out, I think you're going to start to see the prices drop a little bit drastically for all these games. But I think right now they're just trying to strike while I don't want to say the iron's hot, but they just want to strike while they think they can, while it's still far out, but they think that they can get these Americans because you guys are stupid Americans. You spend $500 for a Super Bowl, and you're not even a fan of the team. You just want to go to the Super Bowl to say you've been to the Super Bowl. That's what I personally think that's all about. That's all.
Yeah.
I mean, you look at some of what these Americans spend on sporting events. Sometimes it's like, or concerts, for instance. You're telling me you're going to spend $15,000 to sit in the for a ticket for sitting in the nosebleeds of a Taylor Swift concert? That's like the stupidest thing you could do. She's not even that good either. And you're going to spend that type of money on an Eras Tour concert ticket. So, no, I think that it'll all be sold out. I do find it funny that the game has less tickets sold in Iran versus New Zealand. I think that's funny to me. But when you make it the third highest priced game behind a semifinal and a final for a group stage match, I mean,
Yeah.
that's a little bit of a tough sell to me for anyone, to be honest with you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it is a tough sell. It's expensive. It's all those things. I think, to your point, people just kind of go there for the status of it all. I still think that there are enough, actual fans of the game that want to buy those tickets and participate in it. But listen, this isn't something that's new, necessarily in the US. I mean, talk to us anytime we play a game out on the West Coast or on that side of the country. In Mexico is involved, or Mexico has a game after us or before us, it ain't going to be filled out for the U.S. men's national team. It will be filled out for Mexico. And even in a lot of these places that we go, we're not going to fill out a lot of these stadiums. But no, man, I think it's all manufactured. I think people are going to show up and buy the tickets either way. I just think, FIFA maybe not budging a little bit on that first game is weird to me. I probably should back off at some point.
Fabian's back in the chat. He says, "What's up, Ryan and Nate?" And he says, "I was celebrating 420 for the past week and a half." Well, shout out, Fabian. I hope you.
It's a week-long celebration.
A nice journey. I hope you did that. But yeah, no, glad to have you here with us this morning. We're just talking some World Cup, but because if I look at the other World Cups, and Qatar, I still didn't even think was sold out, to be honest with you. I think a lot of seats were empty, like at the Qatar World Cup. I did get that sense in the group stage matches and some of the other matches. And I also just want to see what do we really just have to put them in NFL stadiums? Do we have to put these games in NFL stadiums? Because I think the big stadiums, across the world, like just in the European stadiums, the Premier League teams, the La Liga teams, obviously the Bernabeu and Camp Nou is like 80,000 plus. I know Camp Nou is at least 100,000. I don't know what Bernabeu is anymore since the renovations. But like you look at the big, Premier League stadiums, I think they're like 60,000, 50,000 ish, something like that. And I mean, they're always pretty sold out. But like I look at, you really gonna jump it up from 75,000, 80,000 people for a game? This isn't an NFL game. This isn't a college football game. Like, even when Michigan was bad, they weren't even selling out 110,000 every single time. Like, it looked packed for the most part, or maybe some people were just there for half and then realized Michigan football sucked and then walked out. But, like, I'm just saying, like, I feel like they're still doing themselves a disservice by putting them in these massive stadiums. Like, if I'm going to look at the Big House, we're going to throw a World Cup game in the Big House. They're not getting 110,000 unless it's somehow a World Cup final. Fabian already telling me Arsenal will lose. Well, they already did lose. Nate, what's your favorite team? What's your favorite team? Fabian's asking what's your favorite team.
Favorite in terms of
I think soccer team. What's your favorite soccer team?
You know, I have been for the last 2-3 years only because someone got me a jersey once, so I had to be. So it's like by default. I'm an Everton fan. Yeah, by default, an Everton fan. Shout out Tim Howard too. Best
Landon Donovan was on the team for a second.
Goalie in U.S. men's national team history, an Everton legend. So I'll go Tim Howard. Landon Donovan, he was on the team for a little bit, wasn't he? Then he like immediately came back home.
That was a World Cup year, so they obviously the whole MLS calendar and everything, which they need to switch to the rest of the world, which they're getting there. Dave says first two games are in Mexico. They will be sold out easily. U.S. not so much. Well, I would probably say so. I mean, the Mexican fans are way more passionate. They actually like the game way more than the American fans. And I think that most American fans going to the World Cup just want to say they were at the World Cup. Like, they want to go back they go back to school. They're like, what'd you do this summer? Like, I went to the World Cup, did this, and that. Wow, that's so sick. Or they want to go back to work the next day to the office after they took a week off. What'd you do with your time off? Yeah, I went to the World Cup. Wow, dude, that's so awesome. What was it like? That's all this is. They don't actually care about the team. No one actually wants to see the U.S. men's national team do well. Like, if the U.S. does well, it's like, okay, cool. Like, that's pretty fun. Like, let's go. But, like, dude, the Mexico fans care way more about their men's national team than the U.S. fans about their U.S. men's national team.
Yeah, and it's to take it, inside the American brain, it's just tough for them to get behind a team that they're just not confident is going to be a winner. That's not confident that's going to go out and dominate. I would still go watch, if I had the availability and everything. But I just think not that it's a non-story. I just don't think it's still going to be sold out. There's still going to be people all over the place. But you're right with the venues that they're. That's exactly like, but with the venues they are going to, you see the Europeans too. They're like, well, we have massive stadiums here. It's like, trust me, just trust me with some of these college football stadiums. Like, how many are over 100,000 now? Michigan's over 100,000.
Penn State.
What? Tennessee, Penn State, I think is over 100,000. Like, I think it was A&M. I think Kyle Field or whatever they call it. I think they're over 100,000 too. So it's like, no, guys, these stadiums are freaking massive.
So
not that they're playing at the Big House, but that's what I'm saying.
So here's a good little baseline for if this World Cup could be successful or not in just terms of ticket revenue, or not ticket revenue, but just based on people attending. Searched up, was every World Cup game sold out in 1994? It said not every single game was sold out. The tournament had an average attendance of 68,991 fans per game, which is a record for the time. While some matches were packed, others may have had very few attendees. The total attendance for the tournament was over 3.5 million fans. So, I mean, they showed up in 1994. Let's hope that they could show up again in 2026, but so everyone's going to talk. And the game has grown. The game has clearly grown since 1994 to now. Way more youth participants, way more teams, way more MLS teams. Obviously, they were at 0. Now it's 30. So I would hope that there's more MLS teams. You got more USL clubs, more academies, more youth clubs everywhere. So the game is not only grown, it's just more, it's whether that they can get into the stadium for as cheaply as they possibly can. But it's definitely, if 1994 can do it, 2026 can do it. Yeah, for sure. 100%. On the other side of the story, you know what? You put together some really good pathway stories. I was really impressed actually looking at our show before we came in here today. But it's kind of our last 2 points here, the first hour, are kind of interconnected. We're going to talk about some fun pathway stories, but also
A lot of U.S. men's national team players contributing in some of the top flight leagues across Europe. We've gone from just participants to producers, and you just hope that translates. But we'll talk about all that and more on the other side right here on Inside the Game.
Experience the thrill that came like never before with NSN's Game Rewind.
Dive into full match commentaries enhanced with cutting-edge dynamic graphics,
Letting you relive the highs and lows of your favorite matches in astonishing detail.
whether it's a championship win or a legendary play.
NSN Game Rewind bridges the past and future with a broadcast experience designed to captivate.
Call 586-304-4405
And start watching today.
Back inside here in hour number one of Inside the Game, episode 272 here on the National Soccer Network. Nate Wangler and Ryan Glinsky. Let's get into U.S. men's national team players and how they've been playing over in Europe, our top flight leagues across Europe, and they have been playing very well. I saw yesterday Weston McKennie. I know we posted about him on our page. The dude has been on one lately for Juventus, but 96 goal contributions across top.
I missed this comment from TikTok. Caden Prady, who's actually from England, he's been a couple of the TikTok lives before with me. He actually sent us a rose, so I don't know what that means, but he sent us a rose. But
Nice.
He also said he's
Thanks,
coming to the
guys.
World Cup. He also mentioned the MLS has had so many great players throughout the years, and he goes, all I'm saying is you can't get a flight from Manchester or London to the USA from June 8th to June 18th, all sold out. So apparently the English people are, or the Great Britain people, the United Kingdom people, whatever way you want to call it, they are going to make their way to the World Cup. My bad, Caden. I don't know if you're still in there, but my bad. I missed your comments.
Yeah, but we appreciate the rose, man. Appreciate you dropping in on the chat as well. We've had a few people from the UK, few from the UK, one from oh man, where was it? One from Scotland, so I guess that counts as the UK, right? It's part of the UK. So like 3 or 4 different people from the UK. So yeah, appreciate you guys dropping in. I know a lot of people have been hitting us up in our comments, calling us dummies. I mean, they're still feeding our algorithm. They're still putting us out there, but appreciate you guys dropping in as always. But yeah, Ryan, 96 goal contributions across top flight leagues in Europe. Just wild. I mean, what do you make of this number when we look at this? Just face value.
No, I think it's good. I got a couple questions, but Dave, that's a great comment. It says England go to fight, Scotland goes to drink. That's yes.
Hell yeah.
Yep. That's a good point.
Yep.
That's a good point. I like that comment. That's the best comment so far we've gotten today. What I would take away from this, by the way, this is just the top 10 players that have goal contributions across the leagues. Balogun 1, McKennie 2, Pulisic 3, and then you can go down the rest of the list. But there's a couple things that I want to take away from this list. One is Pulisic. I mean, we look back in the fall and how good was this kid? Like, this guy was unbelievable. Seemed like he was scoring a goal or having an assist every single week. And since then, he's just hit a really big dry spell. And if we're going to make any noise in the World Cup, this guy's got to be at his best performance. He's got to be at his A game week in, week out, get into form. But the other thing that I want to take away is the fact that all of these players are not doing this arguably in the top 2 leagues in the world. There's no Premier League players outside of Chris Richards on this list, and there's no La Liga players. Or Brendan Aronson also, he's on Leeds, I should say. He's a Premier League player. He's
Yep.
got 9. But and then what's his name? La Liga. Cardoso, he's got 1. He plays for Atleti, and then Jedi technically is in the Prem as well, but he's a defender. But I look at our offensive players. Aronson's got 9, but again, he did that all in a quick spell. He hasn't done it consistently. But I look at like Tim Weah, Malik Tillman, Pulisic, McKennie, Balogun. All of those players are, Ligue 1 in France, Serie A in Italy, or the Bundesliga. Tim Weah also in Ligue 1. And then Bundesliga with Malik Tillman and Bayer Leverkusen. And we talked about it before about the whole, Italy, hasn't made the last 3 World Cups. And it's like, well, Pulisic and McKennie are dominating in the Italian league. Does that really hold as much weight as we truly think it does? And based on performances, with the men's national team, I don't necessarily know if it does. So as great as it is right now with all these players doing great things for their clubs, does it truly elevate our men's national team, to a stint of the Spains or the Englands or the French, or let alone the next tier of teams that are below the real contenders? I don't really know if it does, because if we look at the men's national team over the last couple years or so, what is our best win? Guatemala? I don't know what's our best win. We don't truly have it. So it just wonders, this is great to see. I'm not trying to knock any player for going overseas. And, these are record-breaking numbers for U.S. men's national team and Americans all over the place. But I just can't, really get behind all these different numbers and really think that this is going to help our men's national team, try to get to a quarterfinals of a World Cup.
Yeah. Well, it's the individual pieces that we just can't find a way to string together. That's the most maddening part about being someone that has followed the sport and watched the sport, and now obviously just keeping track of what these players are doing overseas. Now, we talked about Serie A, and does that take anything away from what Weston McKennie and Christian Pulisic are doing? I don't think, to the extent that they're doing it, I don't think so. It'd be one thing if they had a good little stretch and that's all they had, but both of them have been consistent. Flo Balogun is far and away. Just the number you see on the screen, obviously, but when we start having conversations about, could he represent England and would he fit on that 11? That's a pretty serious conversation. And I think it's something that's, obviously worth having, but it's the thing is we are finally crossing that barrier, kind of like I said, coming into this conversation of participating to producing. I feel like you can no longer say now stars is a different conversation. Do we have a 20, we have a 20 plus goal scorer in Flo Balogun, but do we have a star, a true star? I don't think so.
Not
but
yet.
We are producing. So we've crossed that bridge, that hypothetical bridge between just participating to now we are producing. But how do we string that all together into one and make it go? And I think it's not unique. Every country is like this. But I think it all comes back to the fact that, again, they just have not played together. The same group has not played together consistently enough for us to really be able to get that. Now, the other part of this is I feel like this doesn't really cover the other side of the field, which is obviously our defending, which was so porous against Belgium. It was not good against Portugal. And so that's a completely different side of the conversation. But this is what I was saying, Ryan, and I wasn't kidding when I watched them play Portugal. I was like, if we were any better, and I've heard this from multiple different circles, if we were any better at finishing, or if we were any better in tight spaces, because that is the biggest knock on American players, is that they're just not good in tight spaces, operating in tight spaces. And we've seen that. We saw that against Belgium, and we saw it against Portugal. They missed that last little bit of technical play that's going to get them over, put them in better spots.
Schrock has just hopped in. He says, hey, it's a party in the comments today. It is. We got a lot of people commenting. Yes. Appreciate all of you guys. We've had Ramen, who's probably gone at this point, but Ramen stopped in, Baco stopped in, Dave stopped in, Fabian stopped in, and now Schrock stopped in. And then we had Caden earlier in the TikTok chat. So appreciate all of you guys for taking some time out of your day, your work day, or or maybe you're at the gym. I don't know what people do sometimes. Sometimes I listen to podcasts while I'm at the gym. And you kind of brought up a point that I've wanted to bring up on the show this week, but I kind of haven't had a chance to do it. But you reminded me with that point right there, talking about the individuals. So my dad and I were watching the Real Sociedad Atletico Madrid game, the Copa del Rey, and my dad he's like, why aren't we good enough? Like, why does the USA continue to suck against these big teams? He goes, because I told him who Johnny Cardoso was. He didn't know who that was. And he's like, we have a guy out there right now in La Liga. We've got Pulisic. We got all these guys. Why aren't we good enough? And I was sitting there and I was thinking to myself, I was like, I don't know, like all these players, like we're doing everything in terms of like, production in Europe. Like we should be better. But then it hit me. This is why I think like we can have all these different players, all these good individual players, but when we bring them together, it's not there. And I think this is the reason. When you look at 2014 Germany, damn near the entire team was Bayern Munich. Damn near the entire team was Bayern Munich. So, yeah, they're not playing with their national team, but 7 to 8 out of that starting 11 was on Bayern Munich. You look back to 2010 Spain. A majority of those players were Barcelona and Real Madrid players. And it's like, okay, well, you get that. You look at the French national team with Mbappe, all those guys for the most part were kind of all over the place, but you saw a couple of PSG players together, a couple Monaco players together. And then I looked at 2022 Argentina, which that's kind of an outlier because everyone else was kind of all over the place, but they were bought in so early together and they played at such a young age together. All that young nucleus that they had, Enzo Fernandez, Julian Alvarez, all those guys, those young players, they all played together. If I look at the U.S. men's national team players, some of them are dual nationals. Some of them didn't come up with all the USA players. And then most of them only played together in youth camps. A majority of them had their own paths. Pulisic went to Dortmund at such a young age. McKennie was FC Dallas, then made his way to Schalke. Tim Weah was at PSG. Chris Richards was at Bayern Munich. So all of our U.S. men's national team players doing great things overseas, and that's awesome. I'm not trying to knock any of this at all. But like Jedi, he's a dual national as well. Yunus Musa, dual national. Tyler Adams, Red Bull, went to Leipzig and now is at Bournemouth. Yeah. All of these players are not brought up together. Like if you were to look at USA hockey, USA baseball, USA basketball, they all kind of play together in some aspect or not, or they play against each other in some way, whether that's
they cross paths, all over
the college.
Yep.
Like these soccer players, these U.S. soccer players do not play like ever together. You get them some youth camps. Some of them are dual national, so they never even play together. And then they're not on the same team for their club. So they're never playing with each other except those 5 to 6 weeks together. And that doesn't do anything. Clearly, it doesn't do anything. So you brought up a good point, like inadvertently, and that brought me down that rabbit hole. But like, because we talked about the numbers, how great that is. But at the same time, it's not translating to the U.S. men's national team, and I think that's the reason why.
Yeah. And it's and that's the thing about, stepping up our game in terms of the development side of it. And that's why I think the investment in the academies, whether it be USL, whether it be MLS Next. Now, I know some of those players came up through the MLS Next program, so, they were here. But, I think a lot of the ones that did come up through those programs have played together. I think McKennie and Pulisic and, I just think we're starting to expand our horizons a lot more. And so while that's a good thing, it could also serve as a negative. And I feel like Alexi Lawless, the couple of times he's been on our show, has also explained that, the diversity and the size and all of those things, generally speaking, are strengths about our country. But in a lot of ways, when it comes to the men's side of the game and just how, again, scattered to the wind we are, it could also definitely serve as a negative. And so familiarity breeds results. Familiarity is everything, because when you know who's around you and exactly what to do and their tendencies, that's what makes a team. And so it's really hard, especially in going out and getting an outsider and Mauricio Pochettino, But that's where my whole thing with, if we just got an American manager and things would be better, you can't just say that, because even an American
You could
manager
give any
would still have
nationality,
trouble.
you could give
That's
us
what I'm
Pep
saying.
Guardiola and we still would suck.
Yeah.
Like you
And we
can't
would
you
still-
can't just say,
yes.
well, if we had an American manager. No. You could give us the best
No,
managers
yeah.
in the world. We could give us the greatest coaching staff ever assembled. We could have Jurgen Klopp as an assistant. We could have Pep Guardiola. Like we could have unbelievable. We could have the dream team
Yeah.
of coaches, and we still would not do anything. Like that's just the reality of all of this. Yeah, like now you're starting to see like the MLS Next people, like the Pareba and Shukaluk for Chicago we saw last week. They came up together in the MLS Next, and they got an assist. Like that was pretty cool. But like all these Americans that are playing for the men's national team they all have their separate paths, and that's kind of a little bit of the issue with American soccer, and that's why I'm hoping with which one of the Americans on Red Bulls, he's potentially on a move away this summer. Like he's already had such a hot start that he might get a move out. That's why I'm hoping that these MLS academies become a little bit popular, where these players come up together for a certain age, and then they get shipped out back to Europe, and that's what I'm just kind of hoping. But none of these players ever play together, man. It's a little bit difficult.
Yeah, makes it very difficult. You want to take a break, or you want to get into some cool pathway stories here?
Let's take a break. Tell us about Barcelona, and then we'll get to the cool pathway stories.
Cool. Works for me. Barca Academy, proud sponsor of the National Soccer Network and the official academy of FC Barcelona in the United States. Designed for boys and girls ages 6 to 18, Barca Academy camps follow and replicate the FC Barcelona game model. Same philosophy used by Barca's professional coaching staff. Right now, you can save $30 on registration by using promo code FCB30. Again, that's FCB30, or scan the QR code on your screen. Find a camp near you at fcbarcelona.us/camps.
In Barca camp, I sing my song grown on and off of the field. Don't miss the time to register.
Sign up now for Barca camp.
Inside the Game continues along here on the National Soccer Network. Nate Wangler and Ryan Glinsky just got done talking a little bit about World Cup ticket prices, also about pathways when it comes to the U.S. men's national team and our players that are playing in some of the top flight leagues across in Europe. You just got to look at some of those numbers. Players from the U.S. men's national team, but obviously one of the biggest talking points on our show, and continues to be and always is, I feel like, with all the interviews that we do and the people that we do talk to, are the pathways here in the United States. And that is, for many, they would say that is the key to getting us to the next level, to be able to continue to create more competitive spaces in which we can develop young talent to where they can get to that next level and compete with the most elite that this world has to offer, which is a really hard thing to do. And obviously it's been a process over, the last 3 decades plus of actually creating an infrastructure that could produce top end talent. But Ryan was hard at work looking up a couple of success stories as it pertains to that. And there's a few of these, one in particular that I think is the most mind bending of all of them. but a few fun pathway stories, inspirational pathway stories for a couple of American soccer players.
Well, our good friend Shrock's gonna like one of them really well. But anyway, this is Jan Diamande. He comes from the Ivory Coast. He moved to Florida to play high school soccer at DME Academy, named National Player of the Year, and everyone kind of knocks high school soccer in America. But hey, if you could turn out like this guy, high school soccer is not knocked at all. He led AS Frenzy to UPSL 2023 title, winning MVP and Golden Boot. He actually scored in every single game in the playoffs. What they do is they start in the round of 32 and eventually end its way all the way to the finals. He then went on trial to Rangers over in I think it's at Scotland, but moved to CD Leganes. I didn't get the correct pronunciation. And then he made a $23 million move to Leipzig, which is the biggest in club history that they've ever bought a player. If you ever look at Leipzig and their transactions, it's all academy based. It's all like you all buy cheap and then you sell high. That's basically that's how it all works. Shout out Timo Werner, Forsberg, Poulsen, all those guys. And then this year right now with RB Leipzig, he has 21 goals this season for Leipzig. He is now rumored to replace Mo Salah at Liverpool next year. He's valued at £75 million. So from a player, you are right, Dave. He never got a game with the Rangers. That's why he went to the Spanish side. And that is why a fourth division player in America from the UPSL is equivalent to the fourth division in America. He gets fourth division to maybe getting a £75 million move to Liverpool. That's impressive.
Yeah, and all starting from high school too, being named player of the year, as you mentioned, and obviously going to the UPSL. This is the part, right? And this is, I feel like Jan Diamande, it's unconventional, and it's crazy how the pieces just kind of connected for him to get all the way to that level. But I think it's just another example that there is talent in high school soccer. Like, there are dudes who are playing, in those teams, on those schools, that absolutely have talent and a future and a capability to be able to build something like this. Now, this is rare. Like, we can't say Jan Diamande is the rule. He is an exception to the rule. Yeah. But if anything, what I take away from this is that he is could be one of maybe many that we could uncover in that are kind of hiding in high schools and different places where obviously the money is not being invested. You talk about high schools in the US, like, it's going to be football or basketball. Generally speaking, those are the two sports that you're going to invest all the money in. But there may very well be another Jan Diamande out there. But that is fascinating that he was able to get to that point. And obviously to replace him would be huge.
Yeah, maybe my guy Axel Montiel from TBD FC International.
There you go.
He scored a hat trick in 26 minutes in the UPSL last week or 2 weekends ago. So I was like, hey, maybe he's got a chance. But no, this is just like no one, like, it's weird because everyone kind of knocks high school soccer in America. Like, you can only make college or
there's
MLS
just no money.
Academy. Yeah, because you can't, because of high school.
Right.
Like, you can't. Like,
right.
It's got to be ECNL Academy or, MLS Academy. That's the only way you can make it pro or anything. Like, hey, this guy he gambled on himself. I'm sure he worked hard every single day. I'm sure he could tell you that. And he's made his way all the way to a really good professional team in Germany, and maybe is playing potentially in the Champions League next year. I don't know if Liverpool's exactly going to get into it, but £75 million value for this player right now, and he started in the UPSL, and it just shows that there's talent, all over the place, and you just gotta, if you get in the right set of eyes, you can always be seen.
Yeah, it's like, how does a player like that slip through the cracks in the USL or the MLS? Like, how does the MLS not identify a player like that? Like, that is maybe another thing we should talk about, is just the identification of talent. Is just like, how do you miss on that?
I would imagine.
How do you miss on this kid?
I would imagine he may have had some MLS trials. It never said. But I mean, you see that he went to Scotland on trial for Rangers. So I imagine that may have been his first choice. It was like, let me try it out there, and then ends up at the CD Leganes, I don't know. side. So
Yeah.
maybe he did have some trials. I didn't mention that in any of the articles that I read this morning, but again, it could have happened. But maybe he just was like, you know what, let's not do this. Let's go
Yeah,
overseas
fair.
and try my luck. Speaking of a guy who doesn't even play pro soccer, but he played football instead in the NFL. This is Malik Mustafa. He played at Charlotte Soccer Academy up until high school. He always wanted to be a pro soccer player. He credits a lot of his play to the game of soccer with footwork and everything. Same thing Giannis does too. Giannis credits a lot of his good footwork because he played the game of soccer, which he actually does have a brother who plays professional soccer over in Greece. Giannis does. But he had Nigerian parents. I didn't put that in there, but he had Nigerian parents, and his parents always kind of pushed him to be soccer. And then costs kind of just cut him out. They couldn't afford to play soccer anymore in America. So all of a sudden he's like, let me just play the different football. Let me play American football. Switched to football in high school, went to Richmond University. After 1 year, he transferred to Wake Forest. He was a captain his senior year. Over the 39 games as a Demon Deacon, he recorded 192 tackles, 15 tackles for loss, 4 sacks, 3 picks, and 4 forced fumbles. He was a 4th-round pick back in 2024, and he started 12 out of the 16 games this year. In the 16 games that he played, he started in 12 of them for the San Francisco 49ers, who, as we know, was an NFL playoff team before falling to – no,
Yeah.
did they beat the Eagles? Yeah, I think they beat the Eagles, right? I don't remember.
Yes, I believe so. Yeah.
Because it was a rant. Yeah, because they got killed by the Seahawks. Remember they took the opening kickoff back? Yeah, no, they lost the Seahawks. I forgot about that.
No, I feel like we're touching all of our bases right now, right? First, high school soccer obviously is
wait for the next one, Truck. I like it.
High school soccer is obviously overlooked and disrespected, and we know this, and it's not looked at as serious by USA Soccer, which I think is wrong. I think the kids that are playing high school soccer are playing it because it's offered at the school. It's not something you have to go out of your way to pay for. But at the same exact time, this is another one. Like he wanted to be a professional soccer player his whole life, and then cost cut him out. And then he went to the other one, which was, to be fair, in the U.S., we can provide a little bit more for you, especially if you're playing at school. Like, they have equipment, they have things that you can use. So I'm not saying it's inexpensive, but it certainly highlights a discrepancy. But that's, another example of a player who decided to do the thing that was most, culturally popular, that I'm sure everybody else around him was playing. And one of the biggest reasons was because of cost, because he just simply couldn't afford to play. So again, these are the individual stories where people are like, oh, there's no issues in terms of how expensive it is. Yeah, well, clearly that's not the case.
So we always talk about like the size, like what if our best players played, our best athletes played the game of soccer. Well, Malik Mustafa is 5'10" at 206 pounds. I think he'd be a very good winger, maybe an outside back, like a good forward. I think he'd be this guy wanted to play pro soccer, but again, his family was priced out a little bit, as he says. I mean, I don't know who he probably would represent Nigeria. He still mentions that he does follow their national team very closely in all soccer around the world, but he follows them very closely. So even if he were to become a great a great soccer player the way he is, a safety in the NFL, I'm sure he still would represent Nigeria. So we'd lose another one to it. But again, another example of just, a good player, a good athlete that's American that gets priced out because of prices. It's just sad what the youth game has kind of become.
Yeah. And you don't think about it in the way of like, we're missing out on a guy who could actually be seriously something for our national team. You always think, the cream will rise to the top. Yes, but no. I mean, we almost like a couple of examples, 2 examples, at least your first example there of Yan Diomande. There's a very real chance he could have slipped through the cracks and not realized his potential and not been a part of what he is now. Like there are I imagine there are a lot of kids that, talent that's left on the chopping block, if you will. But I know you got one more example to get to here.
Yeah, just real quick. Isn't it weird though that like all these athletes that like sometimes pick up sports in high school or in college, like become like these great athletes, and
Fascinating.
these great like Yaxel Lemonford
Fascinating.
with basketball.
Yeah.
Like literally played like 8 games in high school, like ever, and now is going to be a lottery pick. And you have Ziggy
Yep.
Ansah, we said before the show that you mentioned, didn't even play before. He didn't even play before he even got into college. And David Ajabo Wolverine, who didn't play until high school. Like,
Yep.
there's a lot of like, it's crazy that these athletes like don't play it ever until they get to high school age, and they're all of a sudden great players. And sometimes maybe that helps with the injury issues, like the overuse injuries, and all that fun stuff.
Yep.
All right,
Yep.
Schrock.
All depending on what sport, yes. But go ahead.
Schrock he commented, waiting patiently. But here is a Fighting Irish alum, now most paid kicker in the NFL, Brandon Aubrey. He played at Notre Dame, where he helped win a 2013 national championship, probably the only national championship the school's had in a long time, and anything else. Was taken number 21 overall to Toronto FC in the MLS. Played with the reserve side before being released a year in, and then played 1 year in the USL for Bethlehem Steel FC, which is an affiliate of the Philadelphia Union. Retired from pro sports in 2019 to become a software engineer. It's a really good gig, Brandon, but I think you'll take your paychecks now and compared to that. Joined the USFL Birmingham Stallions back in 2020 or 2021 when the whole thing started, before being signed in 2022 by the Dallas Cowboys, and then yesterday became the highest paid kicker. I think 4 years, $28 million is his contract. I think that's the highest paid kicker in NFL history. And Schrock already, Notre Dame does love their Australian punters. But yeah, no, the Fighting Irish, with they make it onto our top 3 soccer feel-good stories.
Dude, if I am a goalkeeper in soccer / football and my career doesn't work out, whatever happens, or even any other position for that matter, like, just try football, man. Just try, just give it a try.
Michigan
Right, just
Michigan
go
had
out
a
there.
player that played in I think the championship or League One
Oh, okay,
this
yeah,
past year.
but
He was
like,
I think he was the kickoff guy, the kickoff specialist.
it's fair.
He
But like,
probably didn't say much
kick-
because Michigan sucked and they didn't kick off many
Kick-
times because they didn't
it's
score many
fair.
points.
yeah, I'll give you that. But kickoff, punter, place kicker, like field goals, like special teams, you can literally make a career out of just being a special teams specialist. Even kids out there, if you're playing American football, become a long snapper. You can literally make a career out of that. You don't even have to be the same size as everybody else. As long as you get the football there in one piece and put it in the place you need to, you're good. And so clearly found his way as a specialist. The thing is, clearly he had a great plan B in terms of his career being a software engineer. I think he would have been okay either way, but
especially with the Notre Dame degree, I think he could have landed anywhere. He probably still could land anywhere as a software engineer.
I think he would have been fine. However, I'm just saying, like, if you're a goalkeeper out there and you're watching our show and you're like inside the game, if you get to the end of the line and you're like, yeah, this just ain't working. If you have any more eligibility or if you have an opportunity, just try to go play football. Be a kicker, be a punter, be something, right? Because like, we're only going to call on you a handful of times a game, and all you got to do is just put it through the uprights. And I feel like for goalkeepers who have been busy punting balls beyond the halfway stripe their entire career, it's a different ball. A football is much different than obviously a soccer ball. We know this, but just saying, it might be a potential career path. But
and yes, he is the highest paid NFL kicker in NFL history. He's got 4 years, $28 million, $20 million guaranteed. $20 million guaranteed for a kicker is crazy. But some people think, well, it's just Jerry Jones trying to be Jerry Jones with the Cowboys and make headlines, which could very well be true. But the craziest part is about Brandon Aubrey is the fact when you cross the 50, you're in field goal range. Literally, because because everything starts down like the 30-yard line or whatever, because they want to get more points up, which makes sense. Just being such an offensive league, like, dude, you get one first down, you're in field goal range with Brandon Aubrey. And the fact that this guy was an MLS draft pick, he was playing with reserve sides. He was playing in the USL. He played damn near everywhere. He did not make a first-team appearance for any of the Philadelphia Union or Toronto FC. But then all of a sudden is just like kicking and is now the highest paid NFL kicker in NFL history. And this guy started playing soccer. Like that's just unreal to me, man.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's the stories of like reinventing yourself and becoming something else, especially for former professional athletes, is one that I always cling to. Like I think about like Randy Johnson. Now, mind you, he's a Hall of Famer. Like the guy doesn't have to worry about anything. He could just sit at home if he wanted to. But now he's like a professional photographer. Same with Ken Griffey Jr. They're both professional photographers, you know. So you see these weird transitions, and even in obviously in our career field and broadcasting and whatnot, you see that a lot too. Like we'll get people that, you know, that they had a really nice, cozy professional job, and then they come over to this. They're like, yeah, you know, I was sick of waking up and doing the same damn thing every single day. And it's like that makes sense. Like I completely get that. And so it is always interesting to see the players reinventing themselves. But in terms of the first two that you mentioned, the Yan Diomande and then obviously the second one in Malik Mustafa, I mean, I think those are, they just highlight two very important key talking points when it comes to the American experience when it comes to soccer, which is number one, high school athletes in other places where there are free, and I mean completely free pathways, either that or maybe very discounted pathways, should absolutely.
You have to pay damn near in every single country,
You
but
do.
it's a reasonable cost. But like,
right,
it's not free.
Well, yes. Well, I think so playing soccer at your high school was free, correct? Like you paid tuition. Well, no, you didn't pay tuition. You went to a public school.
Some high schools you do have to pay. You have to pay for all your sports, even to play. You have to pay for football.
Really?
My
Okay.
high school was completely free, but there's certain schools in the area that you
Certain
do have
schools?
to pay
Okay.
to even be on the basketball team or the football team or
Right.
the soccer team. Like
Right.
you do have to pay.
So-
I did not have to pay anything besides
So,
the $20 for socks.
Well, yeah, I mean,
I don't
that's
know if I
part
can
of it,
afford
you know,
that.
other equipment, but reasonably priced avenues should be taken more seriously by U.S. soccer in terms of identifying talent. Now, again, I think there's a limit to this. I don't think we go look at, 5, 6, 7-year-olds the way that we have. However, I think there are very talented high school and even college soccer players out there that maybe don't get the right look simply because we don't take it all that serious. Where our focus is the USL academies and the MLS academies, which ECNL, which is another good example. All of those places are great, but if that's where the majority of our scouting is, and we're completely ignoring high school, then we're missing out on someone like a Yan Diomande. Again, he's the exception to the rule. He's not the rule. He's the exception to the rule. But I still think that there are other players like him out there. And of course, Malik Mustafa, like it might not be the typical American family that struggles with paying those prices, but what if it's the immigrant family? What if it's the family who, I remember one game that I did on our network. It was Detroit Cristo Rey, which is I believe it's a heavily like Hispanic area, but they played I forget who it was, a Catholic school, part of the Catholic League in Detroit. They played them, and these Cristo Rey kids, man, like they were fun, they were energetic, but they did stuff on a high school pitch that I hadn't seen before. In all the games I've covered, Forest Hills Central, Forest Hills Northern. I mean, one kid did a cartwheel on his throw-in, the other kid hit like a half bicycle for a goal, and I'm like, yeah, there's some talented kids out here, but they're also playing high school and no one cares because it's, the lowest conference or the lowest division in Michigan. And so anyways, all of that to be said, some really important things to keep in mind. And I think it just points to, because of these pathways and maybe how hard it is, and because there's no pyramid, maybe some of these kids are left behind. Who's to know there isn't another Yan Diomande.
Coming in from Shrek on YouTube. If you guys want any comments, make sure to drop them in. I will try my best with the TikTok. Sometimes I forget them because it's not on the same page as the YouTube and the Facebooks. Going to soccer games in high school was hype. Great atmosphere. Like football, but not exactly there. This is a student section perspective. Talent level, obviously not close to international, obviously.
5U soccer players in the U.S.
Top 5U.
300 days. 300 days until the World Cup. Here's our top 300 5U players in the U.S.
Start picking random players.
They're gonna
that's
dominate
one of the issues
in
with youth
2050.
sports in America. Is like we have like the best 7th graders in basketball. Like dude, like half of them probably won't even play the sport in like 3 years. So like,
Yeah.
they're all gonna play football or they're gonna play baseball. Like, guys, like, why do we got to do this? Like, it should just be what it used to be in high school. Once you turn like a sophomore or something, you do like the top 20 or something. Then you're a senior or you're a junior, it's top 50 and top 100 for basketball. And like football, you do something. But like, sometimes people just annoy me with all that youth stuff.
Yeah, no more mixtapes for like middle schoolers.
Can we
I'm
not see
starting
like
to.
little kids playing AU basketball at the age of 8 and like shiesties and stuff? Like, you guys are not CJ Gardner Johnson.
Yeah, I just don't care.
Like, why are
and
we
it
doing
just
this?
it doesn't. It just does not appeal to me whatsoever. But that's all you see, like, is hoops highlights, like these compilations
or
of these
football.
kids playing, and
There
it's
was-
like, or
there was a
football too.
video
Yeah, like the
I
whole
s-
baby Gronk thing is
That's so stupid.
is-
He's one of the most annoying people ever.
Isn't he gonna be like? Isn't his dad like 5'8" or 5'9" or something?
I think
Like
he's small.
something along those lines. Yeah.
I just know Gronk, like Robert Gronkowski, hates his dad so much. Like, he gets DM'd every single day about like this and that. Like, it's like,
Oh, I'm sure. Yeah. Yep. I'm sure. Yep. And I can't tell if people are actually like watch that stuff because they find it like funny in an ironic way, or if they actually like support the kid and want him to do good. Because personally, I just no, like I don't want to see anybody fail, but like at the same time, it's like, yo, like what, the kid hasn't even grown yet. Like, that's not how American football works, anyways.
Dave goes, remember Messi
Dave.
was 13 when he signed for Barca. Okay, that's Messi. And he also had to have medical procedures to even, they're like, wait, we can help you with the hormones, but you just got to sign for us. And it's like, okay, well, yeah, we're gonna do that. We're gonna do that real quick.
What was his condition?
Ooh, it's a
like,
long
what
name that I
his-
definitely can't pronounce. But he had growth hormone deficiency or something. Like, he couldn't grow or anything. Like, his
Interesting.
legs, something with that. And then obviously he went to Barcelona, got some treatment. They're like, dude, this kid's insane too. We'll get you that as long as you play for us. And obviously, that was probably the. I'm trying to think. I don't think Messi has ever left a team for a transfer fee, because obviously he played with Barcelona the whole time. I know he left for PSG for free because Barcelona had no money to sign him or pay him. I don't know if he made a transfer move money wise from PSG to Inter Miami. I don't know if he did. That's insane. The fact that the best soccer player of all time would never have because Ronaldo, he left for a record-breaking deal at the time from United to Real Madrid. And I know he was moving around. Wow. Let's see this. Because I don't think he's ever moved for money. He has. Okay, he did. It did cost him 80. Wait. Oh, they were both frees. They were both free transfers. Wow. Who would have thought? This guy didn't cost a single dime. At his peak, he cost 180 million euros. At his peak, he cost 180 million. Wow.
Good chunk
All
of
free
change,
transfers. Man. Wow, that's insane. what was Ronaldo? Ronaldo was like, he's probably been a ton. Let's see. Because I know he cost 90 million from United to Real Madrid initially.
Yeah.
94 million, 117 million to Juventus, then 17 million back to Manchester United, and then he got released from Manchester United, and then so okay, he's been transferred for a total of 247 million euros. Messi, zero. That's crazy to think.
That's crazy.
It's like LeBron.
That is nuts.
It's like, well, no, technically LeBron's never been traded. Yeah, no, LeBron's never been traded for anything either. He's all been free agency. That's why he signs only like 3-4 year deals so he can leave after the team when he realizes he can't win anything.
Yeah, not anymore. I think he's I think he's on his retirement tour. I just saw another article yesterday saying he's considering retirement. I'm like, we've had the same conversation for the last decade. I don't know when this is ever gonna end.
The thing is like, you hear athletes say like they don't want a retirement tour. Like Derek Jeter said he did not like having a retirement tour. Like, he was like, I wish that I didn't say I was retiring, or whatever. But yeah, no, the NBA will make him have a retirement tour. They'll be like, the amount of money we can make off of this, we're gonna charge nosebleeds for $1,000 a seat. People will come just to see you. Like, they will literally sit him down and say, you're getting one. We do not care. You are getting one. The amount of T-shirts we can sell, the amount of ticket revenue, the broadcast will be insane. And especially for your last game, LeBron, the amount of money we can make off of that, you're telling everyone you're retiring. Oh, real quick, Fabian, Lamine Yamal is better. That's what I'm going with. Just give me a quick player.
Well, LeBron wants a farewell tour. Ain't no way he's not. As much as I can say he's a great player.
The same guy that sat in a middle school gym just to say for a half hour, I'm taking my talents to South Beach. He ain't. Yeah. You're right. And the same guy
he proclaims he proclaims from the mountaintops that he's the best ever, that he is the king. I mean, I don't know if that's a self-appointed nickname, but it feels like he's run with it. Now So no, LeBron is going to
and there's going to be a documentary.
Yeah.
And I forgot the documentary part. Like, it's going to be also Lamine Yamal, Fabian. He's just giving me all these Lamine Yamal comparisons. No, Lamine Yamal better than Endrick too. But yeah, dude, there's the documentaries that they're gonna have for this guy. The amount of tickets he's gonna have to play the whole season. Yes. I don't think people realize that he's gonna. I don't think he realizes that either. He's like, no more load management, Bron. You're gonna have to play the full season. So But what do you do with the playoffs? Because the Wizards weren't good when MJ played, right? Like, the Wizards never made the playoffs.
No, I don't think they were.
Kobe, the Lakers were trash, so you knew when his last game was. So, does LeBron just switch teams once again? Like, he goes back to a place where, the team is just horrible, and so he can have a proper farewell tour? Like, the Yankees weren't good, I don't think, with Jeter.
No, he wants his legacy to be in L.A. He wants his legacy to be finishing off with the Lakers, living in South Beach. He has a home out there. No, man.
He's he did playoffs again.
Maybe, I don't know, but he wants to be, because
or it's going to be rigged so he wins a championship. All of a sudden,
Jordan wasn't Hollywood. That's the difference between Jordan and LeBron. Jordan just wanted to smoke his cigars, drink his liquor, and go gamble and go golfing. That's all. Jordan reminds me of my uncles. I'm not gonna lie. That's what Jordan is what my uncles are. They just having a drink and golfing, and maybe they'll gamble on a few sports, sit around, talk about sports at the bar. That's what Jordan is. LeBron is not that. LeBron is Hollywood. That's what LeBron likes the shows. LeBron likes the podcasts. LeBron likes the acting jobs. LeBron likes the commercials.
LeBron loves lying to the media. This is my favorite.
Loves lying to the media.
No, you haven't. You're always on the first page when you have a book in your hand, LeBron. You're never reading anything.
You know damn well he's going to be a broadcaster once it's all said and done. He's going to be in the broadcast booth. He's going to be in the front of everything.
Annoying.
No, I get it, but it's
Brady's
LeBron.
Annoying too.
Brady has gotten better. Brady, the more that Brady is
up there, Brady was so annoying. Fabian says, "What happened to Nathan eating White Castle?" I don't think he's got a White Castle near him. The West Side
ain't a White Castle out here. Pick another one and I'll do it. Whatever you got.
He likes going to McDonald's a lot, so give him a McDonald's.
I like McDonald's, Wendy's, Taco Bell. There are options here.
First off, Fabian says Lakers are the Yankees of baseball. Yes, I would agree with that. But he says Kobe was better than LeBron. This is fighting words for Nate. He loves LeBron. It's his favorite player.
Well, I would be interested to hear why he says Kobe is better than LeBron. I mean, it's easy to just say that, but what do you mean by that? He was better than LeBron.
All right. So,
but anyways, we'll probably get another follow-up comment.
We'll go to Man City, and then hopefully Fabian gives us a reason. Gives us a reason why.
All right, let's do it. Man City soccer camps are a proud sponsor of the National Soccer Network, bringing world-class training inspired by Man City's global football philosophy. Players across the United States. Open to boys and girls of all skill levels, these camps focus on technical development, decision-making, and playing the game the City way. Right now, you can save $30 on registration by using promo code MCNSN30 or scan the QR code on your screen. Find a camp near you, usacamps.mancity.com. Inside the game into hour number 2 here in 272. Nate Wangler and Ryan
Have you
Glidsky.
looked at the YouTube?
We get a
Have you
comment.
looked at the YouTube? Fabian's got a ton of comments for your boy LeBron James.
Oh boy. Oh
LeBron,
man.
he goes, LeBron sucks. Clutch player for Team USA. Kobe built the team, meaning Kobe built the Lakers. LeBron was looking for a team with players. Kobe played in the 90s, way tougher. NBA is soft now. You can't compare LeBron to Jordan and Kobe. LeBron melts under pressure. LeBron is equivalent to Mbappe, when Kobe and Jordan are equivalent to Ronaldo and Messi. I mean, he does. I can see the Mbappe comparison. I can see it. I can 100% see the Mbappe comparison because you think about it, they each leave teams all the time. They all have superstars around them all the time, and not necessarily the superstars matter. I will tell you, Kyrie did win LeBron the ship in 2016. Ray Allen saved him in the second time against the Spurs, or the first time against the Spurs, the second championship in Miami. So I could see it.
First of all, 5 spicy chicken sandwiches shouldn't be a problem. I got you covered on that one. No issue there. I can definitely do that one. Clutch player for Team USA, he certainly was. Yeah, I respected what he did there. Definitely won a gold.
Curry.
No, I'm talking about Kobe, brother. Talking about what he
I thought you were talking
commented.
about
I think
LeBron.
he
Yeah,
was
no.
talking. I think he was talking about Kobe. I could be wrong. KD's the most clutch in terms of the USA. Also, Kobe didn't build shit. What did Kobe build? The Lakers were a legendary franchise before Kobe even got there. I'm not sure what you're talking about. Also, riding the coattails of the most dominant big to ever play the history of the game isn't considered having someone who carries you there. His name's Shaquille O'Neal. All right, let's get that straight.
Big Ben beat him.
Most dominant
Big Ben
big
beat him.
to ever play the. Okay, all right, that
Big
one
Ben beat him.
series. All right, hey,
Big Ben
yeah,
was the
give you
kryptonite to
that.
Shaq.
I'll give you that. But Kobe didn't build anything. All right, so let's get that out of the way. Career 40% shooter, and you know what I think greatness is? I think greatness
Michael
is
Jordan.
making everybody else around you better. That's what my personal opinion of what greatness is. I think making everybody else around you better, and yes, that comes with bringing them to a championship and winning championships. Also, the whole stay with one team thing. I mean, I understand LeBron ushered this new era of the NBA in, like it or hate it, whatever it is. But does so top 5 in assists in NBA history? Kobe? Nope. LeBron? Yep. Top 5 most points in NBA history? Kobe? Nope. LeBron? Yep. Career length? LeBron? What? It was probably going on twice the length of the career that Kobe had. Again, if we're going to talk about key players that they had around him, again, you had Shaquille O'Neal. I realize he won one with what? Did he win one without Shaq? Didn't he win?
He's got. Kobe has 5 rings.
Yeah, he has 5. What, he won 3 of them with Shaq? So
I think so.
Yeah. So what? The other two were without him. So yeah, I mean, more NBA championships, but you're gonna have to give me something a little bit more specific than LeBron switched a bunch of teams and he's a baby. Outside of the fact that Kobe has more NBA championships.
So,
now, I understand we live in ring culture right now, but no, in terms of if there is one dynasty builder, if you are giving me LeBron James or Kobe Bryant, who am I bringing in order to build a team around it? Is absolutely unequivocally going to be LeBron. Kobe is not in the conversation.
Dynasty. Kobe's been in a dynasty. He won 3 straight.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. And I know that LeBron has his team jumped. But no, it's LeBron and MJ. Kobe is a great player. I would put Kobe in my top 3. He's right behind those two.
But
no,
Scalabrine
you cannot say Brian Scalabrine of all people.
It's a white mamba.
Oh man, I love how it says I'm closer to LeBron than you are. It's like, yeah, I mean the guy's got a point. Even the last guy on the end of the bench, the worst NBA team would still beat the best guy in the YMCA by 50 million. So I'm just saying that's just how it goes. But no, man, I mean it's LeBron doesn't make anyone better. Top 4 in assists in NBA history apparently doesn't make anybody better. But
I think because LeBron's played with some studs too. Kyrie, Kevin Love, Dwayne Wade, Bosh, old Ray Allen, AD, Luka, Austin Reeves, Bronny James, obviously. Look how good that guy is.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't think Kobe's better than LeBron. LeBron's definitely not better than MJ. I will give you the fact that that's the point I was just going to bring up, Fabian. That was exactly the point that I was going to bring up. When LeBron leaves a team, they suck for 10 years because LeBron forces so many picks and so many trades to get to try to win everything he can for a championship, and that's what happens.
Whoa. So he leaves the organization and they become bad for a decade.
Because he guts the whole future.
Because maybe
Cavs
they're bad because he's not there.
No, it's because
he's not
he
playing
forces
for him.
all the damn trades. All the pieces they got to trade for just to have LeBron.
Yes.
The Heat, the same thing. The Lakers eventually. Actually, no, they got Luka if they keep Luka. But no, whenever a team leaves, he forced, look at the Cavs. How many trades were forced for LeBron?
But
just
what
to
is
keep,
that? What does that have to do?
LeBron happy.
Right.
Let's force all these damn trades. And then he guts the future of the whole team. They don't have prospects. They trade all the picks. They trade all the seconds. They trade all the first and any young player.
What does this have to do with what he does on the court? What does that have to do with what he does on the court?
Well, clearly they don't win anything on the court. He doesn't win anything.
He's been to 5 NBA champions or 12 NBA championships. He's won. He's got 4 rings. It's been
4
to
and 6,
12.
my man.
There was literally a generation of kids that grew up knowing that they were going to see LeBron James in the finals every year.
And they all
what
knew.
he does to an
He lost
organization
to
when he
JJ
arrives has
Barea.
nothing to do with what he does on the court.
He lost to JJ
He
Barea.
lost to Dirk Nowitzki. That's who he lost to.
He
Dirk
lost
Nowitzki,
to JJ
the-
Barea. Wait,
the white
the team,
assassin.
The team that
and
was
Jason Kidd.
not 6, not 7, not 8. Yeah, you won 2. You went 2-2. And the reason
what did Kobe do with Jeremy
Lin? The reason LeBron
Lin?
lost to the Mavs is because they had to get all cute and be like, had a cough because Dirk was sick, and the Mavs all got pissed. So thank you, LeBron, for giving all the motivation in the world to the Mavericks. And you lost to Jason Terry and JJ Barea and Dirk Nowitzki. You can't live that one down. One of them's a Hall of Famer, which, by the way, Dirk, that might be the most impressive finals run I think I've ever seen and anyone will ever see, the amount of teams he had to beat to get there. But, like, no. There's nothing. Okay, if you were to put LeBron in the 90s, do you think he scores the amount of points that he does? He doesn't.
Yes.
Nope. He doesn't.
Yes.
Nope.
Who in the 90s matches up athletically to what LeBron is? You're telling me Bill Laimbeer is going to guard LeBron
Bill
James?
Laimbeer. I didn't. You asked
Bill
me to give
Laimbeer, who
Bill
should
Laimbeer
be
was
an
not the person
accountant,
I was going to name.
a
You're just
pizza
saying Bill
delivery
Laimbeer because that's
driver
the first-
is going to
because you're trying
defend
help
LeBron
Schrock 'cause he's
James.
Notre Dame. That's the only reason you said Bill Laimbeer.
No. 4 for 12. We don't give him credit for making 12 championships.
He was in the
We don't give him
East.
credit
I
for
could have
that.
made the finals.
Also,
I could have made the Eastern Conference Finals in the
Kobe
East.
never had
The
to
East was
leave the
weak.
Lakers.
And then
Kobe
you put him in
never
a
had to
real
leave the
conference and he can't
Lakers.
do anything.
He never had to leave the Lakers. Who do you get when Shaq leaves? Pau Gasol. Wow. Okay, so we just transitioned from one all-time big to the next? I mean, like, the guy never had to leave Los Angeles. LeBron played. He brought the Cleveland Cavaliers. Oh, my goodness. I should look up that roster of those teams that he did bring. Mo Williams? Mo Williams is your second
We're
best
just gonna
player.
forget about him.
Zydrunas Ilgauskas, CMU's best. Zydrunas Ilgauskas is not an all NBA great. Okay, we can drop
isn't
that.
he in the Hall of Fame?
Does Ilgauskas is in the Hall?
I don't know. The
Really?
basketball, the NBA Hall of Fame is a joke. Schrock
it
says
is kind
Kobe
of
is
a
more of
joke
a
to
real
begin
Laker
with.
than LeBron is. I would love to
that's
see
true.
Kareem
I mean, I'll
guard
give you that.
LeBron. Bro, put the 96 Bulls against the current Lakers squad. The Bulls will win.
Well, yeah,
I don't think the Lakers are that
I
good.
mean,
And
I don't
by
think the
the
Lakers are
way,
that
the
great.
NBA forced Luka Doncic to the Lakers because the views were going down. They're like, the Celtics are very good. Let's add the Lakers to become very good. Like, there ain't not like LeBron has played with so many different people, man. Like, he's got to jump ship every time. Like, if
he
LeBron
wasn't-
played in the 80s and 90s, he does not score the amount
LeBron
of points
James-
that he does.
Zydrunas Ilgauskas, Larry Hughes, Drew Gooden, Daniel Booby Gibson, Anderson Varejao,
And he was
and
underrated.
coached by Mike Brown. He brought that team to the
And did
NBA
he win, Nate?
championship.
Did he win?
If he wasn't drafted by
Did
the
he win?
Cleveland Cavaliers and spent the first however many years in Cleveland, he probably would have 12 championships by now.
Did he win?
Kobe was with the Lakers his entire career. You can't just say, did he win, and use
Nate,
that as your
you're,
entire
you're
argument.
flexing
That
about
is
how he
so
brought this
lazy.
team to a finals.
so
Yet
lazy.
Did he win? No, he did not. He did not
He
win.
who did he play against out of the West? I didn't pick anybody
Spurs.
out of the West. They probably, okay, that's exactly
But
my
you can't,
point.
You can't flex. Well, he got there. Did he win? No, he did not win. It's like flexing Michigan basketball. Like Dusty May brought this whole
It's
like
a
Jackson
team
Lenneborg had
sport,
nobody on the
man.
team and carried him to
It's
a
a
national championship game.
team
Did he
sport.
win? No, he didn't win. So what's the point of the argument?
It's a team
Well, he played in the
sport,
weak
man.
East. That's what he did.
I mean, if Yaxel Lendenborg brought Eastern Michigan to an NBA championship, yeah, I would still say Yaxel, that was pretty impressive,
But
despite
did
the
he
fact
win?
that you didn't win the championship. So, anyways, no, I was wondering when we were finally going to get our Kobe and LeBron conversation in here, because I know
Well,
that you had a
I
differing
never
opinion
thought
on
Kobe
things.
is in the conversation. Fabian just brought it in. Kobe was 4
Oh,
and
that's
6
true.
in NBA Finals. He had a losing. Well, he's got 5, so he can't be 4 and 6. He's got 5.
No,
titles.
4 of 6, I think is what he means. 4 of 6.
Well, he can't
4
be
of
4 of
6.
6. He's got 5.
Oh, I mean 5 of 6. I think he only went to 6, if I'm not mistaken. How many?
No, he's
hold
been
on.
to
quick
7.
Google. Oh,
He's
so
been to
5
se-
of 7.
Because he got there in 90. Yeah, he's been to 7. He's 5 of 7.
Okay.
Yeah, so he was 5 of 7. Because he
Yeah.
lost in
But
08
anyways.
to I don't know who. And probably the Celtics. Yeah, the Celtics. And then lost in 04 to the Going to Work Pistons. And then
Yeah. I mean,
that's it.
I mean, listen, I know how math works, right? Like, but I didn't think Kobe
I don't
was
know why. I don't
in
know
the
why we're flexing a
conversation.
guy that's what is he? 4 and what's LeBron? 4 and 6, 4 and 8 in finals.
12. He's been to 12 NBA
So he's
championships.
4 and 8. Yikes! And one of them was in a bubble.
Well, yeah. So 1 out of every 3 championships he's been to, he's won. But yeah, I mean, I'm curious. Most NBA championship appearances
Probably
for
Kareem.
player. Yeah, I'm guessing it would be Kareem or Bill Russell, right? Because didn't Bill Russell
Bill
win
Russell's
like
got
11?
So
Yeah,
wait, or is he? Bill Russell can't be 11 and 0 though.
most NBA championships, 11. Yeah, I think he is.
Is he 11 and
What
0?
I'm more curious about, I think so. Yeah, because the Celtics just
Bill Russell was
Yeah,
11 and 0. God damn.
12 appearances, 11 and 1.
Who did he
Damn, who was
lose?
the one
He had to have
team-
lost like the Lakers then.
I don't know. I think so. I think that's what it was.
Fabian is currently taking a victory. lap
No,
on you
Fabian,
right
you didn't beat me in debate. You're just saying a bunch of stuff. This is how debating goes. You just have to sound correct in your own mind, and then you think you won the debate. Yeah, so Sam Jones, 11, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, which I don't even know who Sam Jones is. I feel bad. Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, 10.
I don't know who Sam
and
Jones
LeBron
is. That sounds
James
like a very
with-
basic name.
Okay, so correction. I don't believe he had 12 appearances. LeBron actually had 10. So he's
So he's
top
4 and
4 in
6.
terms of appearances. So he's 4 and 6 in the NBA Finals. How long did he spend in Cleveland before he left?
Probably 7 years, 7 or 8, because I will give you that. LeBron does travel a lot. I would say 7 or 8 because
7
he was drafted
seasons.
in 03, and
Yeah.
I think he left in 10 or 11.
Yeah. Yep. So, yeah, 7 years in his home organization, which, by the way, just never gave him any help. I mean, that was the part
second
about when
time
he
around
came
they
back
did.
and he
They
got
Kyrie.
Yeah, well, yeah, he got
They
Kyrie,
gave up-
obviously.
They traded
but
for Kevin Love, Andrew
Yeah.
Wiggins for Kevin Love, and then they
Yeah.
made all those trades just to keep things afloat.
Yep. To keep them there, but to give them their first championship in what, half a century? So I mean, was it worth it? I think if you were to ask the Cavs, 100% it was worth it. So,
I'll text
anyways,
Kevin Arnold. I'll be like, Kevin, was it worth it to have one championship from the Cavs?
I mean, the Guardians, I think they have now the longest active drought in Major League Baseball history.
The Browns ain't winning anything.
Yeah,
anytime
the Browns obviously have never won a Super Bowl. So, I mean, yeah, I think 2016 in general, like everybody kind of hangs on to that year as one of the best years ever because you had the comeback from down 3-1 by LeBron that year against arguably, and Fabian, you want to make a comparison? How about the 90s Bulls versus the Golden State Warriors in 2016, 2017, especially maybe when after they
you have
added
to say
Kevin Durant.
17-18 Warriors because that had KD on it.
Yeah, because they had
16-17 did
KD
not
on
have
it, but
KD.
still, 2016 was still I'd still think is one of the best NBA teams ever. I mean, to come down 3-1 in that series and win it.
Which
you know.
Draymond being suspended ruined it all, and that was all instigated because LeBron got mad that he got stepped on or something. That wasn't even that. Watch Major League.
Yeah.
Cleveland, wild thing, Vaughn.
Well,
Cleveland. They won a
Bulls
World
would
Series. They
win.
had to have won a World Series with Vaughn. Had to have. Wow, dang.
Oh, that's funny. No, but yeah, 2016 was a crazy year. Yeah, because you had the comeback for the Cavs. You obviously had the Cubs winning the World Series. But yeah, for LeBron, that whole city is like 2016 Cleveland Cavaliers because they need another team to win a title to actually move on. But again, between the Guardians and the Browns, there's just not a whole lot going on in Cleveland, unfortunately.
Ooh.
But let's take
Billy Donovan.
Another comment?
Leaving the Bulls. I don't think there's a college.
Really?
Wait, this might be created. This could create a domino effect, because if Steve Kerr steps down, they are expected to go after Todd Golden, who is the Florida head coach. Billy Donovan has stepped down. Maybe Billy Donovan goes back to Florida, which Florida has such an insane roster right now. Like, they kept damn near everybody. So, just saying.
Yeah. All right. Let's talk a little bit when we come back. I know we got a few topics here. We'll see what we can get to before question of the day. Talk a little bit of Pistons. We could also talk some Lions on the other side. All that and more coming up next here on Inside the Game.
Experience the thrill that came like never before with NSN's Game Rewind.
Dive into full match commentaries enhanced with cutting-edge dynamic graphics.
Letting you relive the highs and lows of your favorite matches in astonishing detail.
Whether it's a championship win or a legendary play,
NSN Game Rewind bridges the past and future with a broadcast experience designed to captivate.
call 586-304-4405
And start watching today.
Into the final segment of Inside the Game here on 272 before we get to question of the day. Ryan, I know we got a couple of other things we wanted to maybe look at. Let's just, I'll leave this up to you. You want to talk Lions draft? Or you want to talk about Jalen Duren and potentially a Supermax?
See, if I talk Lions, it's gonna go very long, and it's already 10:47. So we'll just go with the Pistons. Into my answer, the question: when I give Duren a Supermax? Hell no.
Yeah.
I can't give that amount of money to a guy who can't knock down a jump shot.
That's the thing.
I can't.
Centers don't give you that much flexibility.
Unless you're Jokic.
And like if
you're
Jokic,
if you're
right.
that type of center, yes.
Right.
But if you're the
Right.
Andre Drummond-esque center, yeah, no. I'm not giving you that type of money.
We've seen this story before,
Like Rudy
and
Gobert.
that's a great analogy. I think you took the words right out of my mouth when it comes to Draymond Green. Perfect example. Like, we've been down this road. Now, not Draymond Green, Andre Drummond. Now, Andre Drummond has turned out to be a productive NBA player. But is Andre Drummond a super max contract guy?
Nope.
No, because he doesn't do the things that bigs need to know how to do, which is knock down a jump shot and provide me a little bit more flexibility and wiggle room if I'm going to spend a super max on a player. Like, rebounding, defense, all those things, great. Hey, awesome. We can find guys in free agency who can do that, who can be great defenders and rebounders. I know the connection that you have with this team, but are you comfortable, if you're Trajan Langdon, of is this your core? Because if you give him that contract, you are locked in. You know, there's no situation in which you're really getting out of that. Is this the core? Is this the group that you're confident? Not right now per se, but looking into the future. Because when I look at centers, he's not that mobile. The profile speaks to someone that, yes, obviously we need, but is it worth the investment? I don't know, man. I don't think so.
You know what would happen, Nate, if we gave Jalen Duren the Supermax? We turn into the Utah Jazz. We have a good guard. Cade obviously is better than Donovan Mitchell, but we would just have Rudy Gobert on our hands. As long as, Duren doesn't touch any mics, we'd be pretty good to go. But, like, Gobert, I think, and Duren are kind of similar in a way. I mean, Gobert is a lot longer than Duren, obviously.
Yeah.
Height-wise, athletically-wise, bigger, but muscular-wise, that goes to Duren. But they're the same player. It's an old-school center. Could maybe get a good pick and roll going, lob it up to him. Good defensively, very good defensively, great rebounder. But
Yeah.
I'm not giving a guy who can't knock down a jump shot consistently that amount of money. Look where today's NBA is. It's jump shots, it's threes, it's lobs to the rim. Yeah, you can lob very well, but what are defenses going to do when you have Jalen Duren and Asar Thompson out on the floor? Asar can't shoot either. Duren, what do you guys do with those guys? You're just gonna sag in the paint. You're just gonna sit there. You're just gonna all right, drop coverage whenever Duren's on there because he can't hit a jump shot consistently. If you were to able to run a little pick and pop with Duren consistently and he could knock down that jump shot or that 3-pointer, sure, give me Jalen Duren on a supermax. But this guy, I know we're gonna give him a supermax. That's the most irritating part. We're gonna give it to him. I have no concern about that. But like, you're telling me that we are gonna give a guy like Jalen Duren a supermax? He can't even hit a floater consistently. Like, I get it. He's 22. I'm sure.
I mean, he shoots 64%. So, I mean, clearly he shoots a high percentage.
What is that? That's not a dunk. Like, is there a way we could take field goal percentage out of dunks and layups? Like,
I'm
sure
yeah.
you can't. But like, he doesn't shoot consistently at all. And it's not like and it's not even like he's in a Dai Mara or anything where he's 7'3", has really good footwork, can run up and down the floor. He looks to passes. No, Duren is an old school center. Dump it down to him. Let me protect the rim so well. But Duren doesn't do that. This would be me. If we gave him the supermax. No, don't do it.
Let's get to question of the day.
Real quick, Fabian says, Nate, 5 spicy chicken sandwiches with biggie fries and 2 large Cokes and a large Frosty.
All right.
Hell yeah. You're going to spend the rest of the day on the
It's got to be on live, though. It's got to be on live, though. That's all I'm saying.
It's got to be on live.
Happen. It's going to be on live.
Hit up to TikTok Live on a nightly basis. They get wild sometimes in there. But anyway, question of the day presented by Salt Athletic, an official sponsor of us here at the National Soccer Network. Use promo code NSN15 to save 15% off of that #1 smell-proof cleat bag. That 100% works. Scan the QR code on your screen or visit saltathletic.com today. But question of the day, why is Nickelback so hated? Like, I was watching a documentary on this yesterday, like on YouTube. Not really a documentary, but I'm like, why is Nickelback so hated?
They're just so memeable. If that makes any sense.
Nice
I don't know
word.
if they're hated. You know what I mean? Like, this, you can just make so many memes out of Nickelback because when you listen to them, and I said it was the same thing for Creed, same thing for a lot of other bands. But most notably Nickelback, because I do think they were popular. I mean, when they were coming out with bangers left and right, Nickelback was popular. Where people kind of started to pick on them a little bit is that all of their songs sound almost exactly the same. Almost exactly the same. Like, same rhythm, same riff, same movement, same sound. I mean, you can almost take the lyrics from one song and place them into any of the other songs, and it would work perfectly fine. Like, just the same exact way that it worked before. So I don't know if it's because, like, people hate them per se. I think it's just because it is they're one of those redundant bands that it just always sounds the same. But also, you think about it this way, Nickelback will never go away. Like, we're still talking about Nickelback to this day.
I don't think they're bad.
Like,
that's why I was confused. Like,
no,
I don't think
so.
they're bad.
They're like the McDonald's of rock bands. You know what I mean? Like, you know what you're going to get out of Nickelback. You also know that there's a certain population that really appreciates Nickelback. And that's why, like, the really, really talented bands, like, I think of, like Queen, I would regard as one of the most talented, if not the best band/group ever in the history of music. They had range, man. They could do ballads. They could do classic rock. Everything you could imagine. They would literally switch up genres in their albums. You would go from, Fat Bottom Girls to all of a sudden we're doing like a melody. It's like, what is going on? Like, their range and their versatility was just crazy. But not all bands are like that. You get your Creeds and your Nickelbacks where it's like every song is, you know what you're gonna get. And so I think that's why people give Nickelback. Personally, I think that's why people give Nickelback a hard time.
Well, thank God then Motown didn't grow up in the social media era because their music is very similar because they use the same band for every single song. So,
well, yeah, but the individual
that was different,
performers though
back in the
were
day.
all
That's the way
yeah,
that
it
they were.
was.
That's the way the company was built and the music was built.
Yeah,
It was
exactly.
they
Well, music
wanted
in
to be an
general was
assembly
just
line.
different. Yeah.
Let's see.
Yeah.
LeBron is equivalent to Hulk Hogan. I'm not a WWE guy, so I couldn't tell you.
Brother.
I will say this. I don't think Queen's that good. I really don't think they're that good. They're only glorified now because of the movie. That's literally the only reason why people like them. I like the movie.
You don't think who's that good?
Queen. I don't think they're that good. Without the movie, no one will ever talk about them without the movie.
Ryan, okay. Yeah. Oh, man. You know who loved Freddie Mercury more than anybody? And he was actually she inspired him to come out with with Queen's greatest song, which is well, I don't know if it's her greatest song. Somebody to Love is certainly one of their greatest songs, but you know who Freddie took inspiration from?
Who?
Aretha Franklin. Him and Aretha Franklin were best friends. Aretha Franklin
Aretha's
actually
not
sang
Motown,
at Freddie's.
so like it's still fine.
It's still Detroit, but all
She's
I'm
not from
saying is
Detroit.
that she grew up in Detroit. She was born elsewhere, but she grew up in Detroit. But yeah, no, that's incorrect. Have you seen the movie
Yeah.
Bohemian
I
Rhapsody?
didn't think the movie
You
was
have
that
seen?
good.
Well, I mean, it was more of an account of his life, but no, like no. Queen's. I think Freddie is the best singer of all time. Of course, he had 4 extra teeth, so that made the range a lot easier to get.
He wasn't that good. His mustache was dumb.
You just rage baiting.
I will tell you,
just
Frank
rage
Sinatra
baiting
was
now.
better than him.
Rage-
David Ruffin
rage
was better
baiting-
than him. Bruno Mars is better than him. There's Chester Bennington was better
Rage-
than him. Like
rage
so many,
baiting, Ryan.
It's not rage bait. It's facts. Like no one.
No, it's not.
No one. Everyone's like Ryan
No.
just rage baits. No, it's not rage
No.
bait when it's facts. Queen without
Frank-
the movie, no one actually
No.
likes Queen.
Dude,
Without the
that's
movie.
not
Unless you're-
not correct. Look
Dude, if
at
I had-
what
dude,
they've.
that's if that was the one knock of the national championship game is we are. Dude, shut up. It's not that good of a song. It's not that good. Without the movie, no one actually likes Queen. I'm telling you right now, they're not that good of a band. It's the same thing with the Beatles. They're also overrated. The Beatles aren't good either.
Sold an estimated 250 to 300 million
Congrats.
records worldwide.
Congrats. You know what? You know what the
Bohemian Rhapsody is the
greatest
most
band of all
streamed
time is?
song in the 20th century. The Live Aid performance in '85 is regarded as one of the best rock concerts in
Congrats.
history.
They're probably all on stuff.
Oh man, they're one of the
So-
best of all
So
time.
if we,
but anyways,
if
go-
we're going
go-
by
go
like
ahead.
number one sold and albums sold, then the greatest band of all time then is the Funk Brothers. That's the greatest band of all time then.
the Funk Brothers.
That is the Motown group that has more number one hits combined than Taylor Swift, the Beatles. I'm sure you could put Queen in there, and there's a handful of artists that you can combine together, and the Funk Brothers have more number one hits than all of them combined.
Well, Fabian likes Freddie Mercury, so that seems like a good place to end. See, we came back to the start point, and now we're agreeing on things, and so I think that's a good place to to bring this one to bed. But listen, we appreciate all you guys dropping in here on Inside the Game. That'll wrap up episode 272. Again, it'll be Ryan more than likely solo dolo coming up tomorrow, but again, we'll
What does
still
solo
have
dolo mean?
means doing it by yourself. I don't know what the dolo part means. I've just
That's
heard
why
I
I'm
heard solo
confused.
dolo once upon a time, but I just started using it. So anyways, it doesn't have to mean
I didn't know
something.
what. I didn't know
anyways.
if it meant something like else. So I get the
Something
solo part,
significant.
but then you added. It's like crisscross applesauce. Where in the world does the applesauce come from?
It just rhymes. That's all. It just
But
rhymes.
where does
So it
the
feels like it
applesauce
fits.
come from?
That's a good question. That's a very, very good question.
I'm just
And
like,
we'll answer that question.
like everyone talks about the rhyming. Like, where does the applesauce come from?
And did the first person that did it have applesauce? Is that why he thought it would be a good idea to name it crisscross applesauce? There's a lot of Unexplained Mysteries. That's actually coming up on our next episode right here.
This guy Fabian
on Inside
asking,
the Game.
Who's better than Queen? I can give you like 20 different groups.
Fabian's just trying to. He's trying to.
Tops, Bruno Mars, Linkin
He's
Park.
trying to. Yes. Bruno Mars, the Walmart Michael Jackson is better than is better than Queen. Anyways, that'll wrap up 272 here on Inside the Game. We'll talk to you guys tomorrow.
You want to talk about different genres of music, and you just go look at Bruno Mars is literally the exact thing. Of,
every Macy's commercial, man.
Restream wow. Hit 100 comments on YouTube. Shout out to everyone in the chat. No, Fabian, I'm not a Swiftie. I never would want to be a Swiftie. My name's not Travis Kelce. Peace out, everybody.
From the biggest matches to the hottest takes, Jonathan Turner and Nathan Wenger bring you the stories, the analysis, and the edge you won't get anywhere else. Streaming live weekdays at 9 a.m. on YouTube, Roku TV, Facebook, Twitter, and all major platforms. No filters, no fluff, just real talk, real soccer. This is Inside the Game.